My conviction makes me who I am. It makes me more than qualified for this job and for every other. It isn't a belief, it's knowledge. This isn't my second chance, it's your first. To benefit from my experience, to learn from my perspective, to understand what desire truly is. I want more than to be redeemed. I want to redefine. I want to change your mind about what you need and what I have to give. This is where hard work comes from. This is how potential is discovered. This is why opportunity is given. This is when you see. This is what conviction looks like.
Larry, this is what conviction looks like.
Yes.
Oof. And there should be 80 million more of you. But let's start with you. So Larry Miller, as some of you may know, is an incredibly successful executive in sports and entertainment. You've taken the Jordan brand and built it and grown it to be one of the most powerful brands in sports history. And while you were doing that, you were holding on to something. What I'm told is that your daughter encouraged you to write a book, which you wrote in 2022. She's in here somewhere. And little teaser, this is going to feel like an amuse-bouche. So if you want to talk to Larry more, he's going to be doing a book signing of his book afterwards in the lunchroom. But you wrote this book, and you talked to people about a portion of your story that you hadn't really told before, about your time being incarcerated. So I'd love to hear what caused you to make that pivot and that push to what ultimately became Jump.
So, like you mentioned, my oldest daughter encouraged me. I got it right. I used to say she pushed me. She said, "Stop saying that." So she encouraged me to share my story, which I stayed away from for many, many years because I was concerned that if my story came out, that it would ruin everything that I had built up to that point. But she encouraged me to share the story, and her and I, for over 10 years, worked on this together. We'd meet for hours, and I'd talk and share stories, and she'd ask questions, and she would record it, and then go back and transcribe it. And so at the end, we had a document. It wasn't really a book. It was just a lot of information. And we connected with the ghostwriter, and her and the ghostwriter did most of the work. But we put this book together that came out about 4 years ago, and it really has been an amazing change from my life. You know, one of the things that the book inspired was, after the book came out, I got a call from Harvard Business School, and they decided that they wanted to do a case study based on the story. And one of the things that, which they did in a phenomenal job, but one of the things that they included in the case study was a chart that showed that at the time, the recidivism rate, meaning, you know, people after 2 to 3 years, they're back in the system, was at 77%. But it showed that if people are able to learn some type of marketable skill, get some type of education, that 77% dropped to 30%. And if people were able to get a bachelor's degree, it dropped to 6%. And with the master's degree, it was at 0. So to me, this was a clear-cut indication that if we're able to provide opportunities for people to learn some type of marketable skill set or, you know, get an education of some kind, people don't go back to prison. And to me, that is something that not only affects the individuals, but it affects the communities, it affects their families, affects the world, basically. And I believe that If we focus in on providing opportunities for people, we can reduce recidivism significantly. We have a goal with JUMP to reduce recidivism by 50% in the states that we're working in the next 40 years. And so, excuse me, by 2040, not the next 40 years. But yeah, so again, what JUMP has come to mean is that we want to make sure we're providing opportunities for people.
Brilliant. Thank you for that. We're all indebted for that. So before we move on to Khalil, maybe give us a little bit of an introduction of what Khalil's part of.
So Khalil's been involved in our JUMP Leadership Accelerator program, which is really an opportunity for young folks who have been involved in the justice system somehow to actually learn not just educational skills, but leadership skills. They've got to interact with politicians. Last week we were at the NBA headquarters and they got to meet with the deputy commissioner and connect directly with him. So it's really about providing opportunities for young people who have been in the system or somehow connected to the system to really provide opportunities for them to grow and learn and become leaders.
It's amazing. Okay, Khalil, we're going to turn it to you. And I'm not going to tell your story. I want you to tell your story. We were having a conversation this morning about comics, DC, and how every superhero has an origin story. So Khalil, I'm going to ask you to share your origin story.
Hello, everybody. My name is Khalil Hayes. I'm coming from Inglewood, California. Proud representative. I'm also representing the LA Clippers through the JUMP Accelerator program. And I can also say that I'm just extremely grateful. I'm coming from a city where a lot of times, a lot of things are not promised. I know that a lot of people that I know, even for example, my brother, who is no longer here with us, he was in and out of the incarceration system. And just knowing the fact of what can happen if he had to jump back then, if he had this opportunity, what would he be right now? And I think just from there, it's also about the sense of identity, where you have one path where could I step away from this or am I destined for this? And I had to understand to be the determinant of my own fate and really walk away and be who I am and understand that I can't live through anybody else. I gotta live for myself and also stand up and be the example for many people. So I'm just recently graduating from Cal State LA not so long ago with honors. And thank you. Mm-hmm. And I think it's just a high honor to be a part of a program like this because it's just an opportunity to just be yourself, to understand that the bias of what people go through, that you can have the second chance, whether you are a first chance opportunity or second chance opportunity youth. Within Los Angeles, I know many people who would love to be a part of this, who needs to be a part of this, because this can just change your life and then have the trajectory go from any other place. So yeah.
That's amazing. Okay, so you said something in there, and I heard some giggles in the audience, and I giggled when I first read it too, that you're not working for the Clippers, but you represent the Clippers.
Absolutely.
That's the right frame.
Yeah.
And you have this opportunity to work with an amazing NBA team. You have an opportunity to engage in policy work at the federal level. I understand you recently went to DC.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about what that experience meant to you?
So UVA week was the first time I ever met most of my peers. I met Ken, I met everybody at JUMP, and when I just landed, I just felt right at home. I had so many people who had open arms for me and my partners. So I think just within that realm, just how we discussed, it was just more than anything, it was more what was behind the scenes than what television shows us.
Yeah.
We understand that there are so many different type of perspectives that could be brought in and that people have been bringing in no matter what it is. And I think it's about bias sometimes, and we don't want to try and get ourselves aligned with that at moments. So being able to talk to both sides, whether they're Democrat or Republican, and understanding them and what their beliefs are and understanding who they are as people before the politics and getting a chance to have that proximity, because I understand that coming from Inglewood or just being in South Central, being within my age range and being who I am, not a lot of people have that opportunity. Not a lot of people can walk in Capitol Hill. Like, for me to sit there and be like, oh yeah, like I went into Capitol Hill casually, which is like, it's a crazy thing to do. But I think it's just so much of just an opportunity that's just granted, and you just got to execute it and seize the moment, and then really take it in and know that you belong there. And that's how I really walked in there. I understood that there's always a job and a duty that we have to always understand, and it's about responsibility. I have people who are watching me, and it's crazy now. I have siblings, I have relatives who sit there and just say that they're inspired by me by just taking these steps. And I think if I didn't really take the step and didn't shy away from the leadership, I wouldn't be here. So I'm just glad to have people like Mr. Miller, Ken, Ms. Moore here, and just be able to just sit here and talk and then really express everything.
It's beautiful. We talked a lot earlier today about how what you've experienced is the first chance opportunity. So JUMP talks both about first chances and second chances. So recidivism and preventing and moving down this path that allows you to live a choice-filled life, allows you to imagine, allows you to dream. And the importance of the mindset change work to, yes, everybody in the US, so we think about formerly incarcerated folks in a different way, justice-impacted folks in a different way, but also the mindset change work with justice-impacted and justice-adjacent folks like yourself. So
Absolutely.
Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Okay, I think we have a video now that talks a little bit about JLA. I'll cue that up.
Young adults are our future. They bring a perspective and a point of view that we absolutely must hear. First and second chances matter because in many ways it is the story and the arc of America and the arc of American democracy.
JLA stands for the JUMP Leadership Accelerator, which is an exploration of careers in policy and advocacy work. And so we decided to partner with the NBA to work with them on their advocacy and policy campaigns, while at the same time creating worker-based learning for youth across the country, ages 18 to 25. The JLA program is really about demonstrating and giving them the opportunity to show their value proposition and show why it's important to invest in the youth, because the youth represent tomorrow.
At the Social Justice Coalition, we believe in the power of partnerships. At the end of the day, just like basketball, making a difference in the world is a team sport. And the JUMP Leadership Accelerator is exactly that. We're working with our partners from the Justice and Upward Mobility Project and Jobs for the Future to create a place where young people can come and build and develop their skills to take it to the next level. These young people are the future of this work. They're the ones who are going to carry the flame of social justice into the future.
Okay, Maya. So Maya is a two-time NCAA champ, four-time WNBA champ, two-time gold medalist, Hall of Famer. We're humbled and honored to be in your presence. And you left at the height of your career to pursue social impact work.
Yeah.
Say more.
Yeah. My journey has been a wild one, y'all. Growing up in the middle of Missouri with some extended family that were involved in prison ministry. And I didn't realize that until I moved away to Metro Atlanta, did the rest of my growing up here. And through that relationship with my extended family, I got to know a man named Jonathan Irons when I was 18, so the age of the JLA program. And so I got to have my eyes open to our mass incarceration problem in this country, and just went on a journey, like a real kind of underground, behind the scenes journey of learning about our justice system and the people, the real human beings that are impacted by our justice system. And so as I grew and matured, I'm in my 20s, I'm balling all over the world, just grinding, trying to do my best, being around a lot of champions and championship coaches and teammates, and getting to experience what winning looks like on the court. But then also realizing, probably in the summer of 2016, a lot of violence, Minneapolis, where I played for the Lynx. My teammates and I got together and really with the wind of our head coach, being like, if y'all want to say something and do something and we have your back. And so I think that's what really led to my courage to be able to speak about Jonathan's situation, fighting for his freedom, his wrongful conviction. And I found my voice through the encouragement of my teammates and my coaches, and actually authentically being on my own journey with Jonathan and learning, and with my family. And so the time came where I realized I needed to shift my presence from being a champion on the court to being a champion more in the fullness of my life and in this justice space. And so that was back in 2018. I didn't know what it was gonna look like, but I knew I needed to be authentically engaged. And we're human beings, we can only do so much. But I saw myself as a teammate in this fight for human flourishing. I was like, I can do something, I can use my voice. I can study, I can get engaged. I meet people like Mike De La Rocha who helped me get educated and teach me about the prison pipeline and teach me about prosecutors and the power of prosecutors to help in our justice system or harm the justice system. And so I started using my voice to advocate not just for Jonathan's fight for his freedom, but just advocating for, we need to all be better teammates to each other, especially through our criminal justice system. And we vote for prosecutors, and we have the ability to connect with some of these OG organizations that have been doing the work. We just have to get connected and talk about it. And you know, athletes, as we all know, as I know from being an 8-year-old watching the WNBA be born, and we have the ability to have our voice be heard. And so may we not hold that lightly as athletes, as entertainers, as people who in our just the cultural makeup of how it works, people listen to us. And so may we be people worth listening to in how we human in front of the world. And so that's why our connection is so authentic. When I learned about Larry's story and he learned about our story, how can we be better? How can we leverage our experiences of winning and championship culture and put that into real life, into real action? So I'm just so excited to be here with y'all and just so encouraged, because the more we team up and do this, the more we can change and get this thing moving. So, yeah.
That's amazing. Thank you. So many gems in that, and may we all leave here more courageous and more committed to the fight for human flourishing. So thank you for that. Okay, we have one closing set of remarks from you, Khalil. We asked you earlier this morning if you had 3 words to describe what JUMP and JLA mean to you and what make it so special. What would those 3 words be?
So those 3 words would be unapologetic, authentic, and inspiring.
That's great.
And I say that because we have the story right in front of us that shows that anything can happen, that no matter who you are, no matter what you look like, what you go from, like what city you come from, it can happen. And I think just where it's so special, because I was selected along with 6 other people that have the same alignment as me, but we all come from different stories, but we always find a way to like just go back to the path that we always just focus on. And so it's been a huge change for me, and it's a good change. And just understanding who I am through this process, and understanding that it's a bigger responsibility for me to understand that it's not only just me, it's people who are watching, it's the whole world now. And it's a big world, and I just have to be able to just walk forward and take each step and understand that it's all about unity, it's all about proximity. And then I mentioned this earlier, that whoever you come across, whether you just have to find a way to like touch their heart, you have to find a way to just be able to just help them, whether it's a big victory or a small victory, you did something. And I'm just glad to be here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Al Roker, I think I heard him earlier saying, what is truth? Khalil, your truth. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a special announcement. It's live breaking news. I'm going to invite up to the stage Ken Oliver, CEO of JUMP, and Isa Mendez from Leading Social Impact of Univision to share their announcements.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. My name is Ken Oliver. I'm the president and CEO of JUMP, the Justice and Upward Mobility Project. And we're pleased to announce today our partnership with the Univision Foundation for our on-air media accelerator, which is an extension of our JLA program, but in the media industry. So we'll be pathwaying youth in LA County and California into a media pre-apprenticeship and get them on their pathway to economic mobility.
For Univision Foundation, this is more than a first or a second chance. This is the future of solutions-based journalism. This is a career that is centered in human thoughts, that is centered in a safe space for young generations that have been facing different challenges to find their voice, to find their future, and to actually create work in a more productive pathway.
Absolutely. So this is all about first and second chances. And at JUMP, we typically say there are 80 million justice-impacted people in America. Imagine if we had 80 million Larry Millers. But I want everybody in this room today to imagine if we had 80 million Khalil Hayes.
Yes.
That's what our work is about. We'd love to partner, figure out how we can do things together for our youth, whether they're first or second chance, to be able to get them on a pathway into economic mobility and livable wage careers.
We look forward to these 200+ hours of constant education and in-person training and the product that we're going to see a year from now to see their stories all over the news.
Yes, and we especially want to give special thanks to the Social Innovation Summit for allowing Larry and Khalil and Maya to share this stage with Shruti, and also to be able to announce our partnership with the Univision Foundation and what we have in store for the future.
Which started exactly a year ago.
That's right. Thank you, everybody.